buying fuel at lesser amount.
Right.
Well, let's move into our discussion for today. Thanks everyone for joining us on this segment of the program, and we are live from our Abuja studio, where our spotlight is on the leadership tussle between the Julius Aburi-led National Working Committee and Nana-D Usman Caretaker Committee, backed by Governor Alex Otti and the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi. Events took a dramatic turn following the return of factional leader Lamidi Apapa. Mr. Apapa, who had disappeared from the political circle in the past year, announced on Wednesday that he has taken over the leadership of the Labour Party following the release of the certified true copy of last Friday's Supreme Court judgment.
In its recent judgment, a 5-member panel of the Supreme Court set aside the decision of the Court of Appeal in Abuja, which had recognized Aburi as the party's national chairman. According to him, the Apex Court verdict puts him in a pole position to replace Aburi, being the most senior national deputy chairman of the party. In the statement, Apapa also announced that his National Working Committee, as of 2022, will officially meet next Monday to discuss zoning arrangements. For more on this development, we have joining us in the studio the acting national chairman of the Labour Party, Mr. Lamidi Apapa. Nice to have you join us here.
Thank you so much.
And also will be joining us on via Zoom, another deputy national chairman of the Labour Party, that is Ayo Olorunfemi. When he joins, we'll get to speak with him now. Okay, Mr. Ayo Olorunfemi, I'd like you there. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
All right. Nice to have you join us on the discussion this morning. Now, let me start with you, Mr. Lamidi Apapa.
Please go ahead.
Following the Supreme Court judgment, Labour Party seem to now have a lot of factions. And just yesterday, you came up and said you are the acting national chairman. Some persons say you impose yourself on the party. I wonder, where did you derive your powers from to now say you are the acting national chairman leading the third faction of Labour Party, so to say?
Thank you so much. At the beginning of your comments, I learned that you said I've disappeared for some time.
Okay.
I didn't disappear. We'll be going from one court to the other. This fight started from the Federal Court to the Appeal Court, now to the Supreme Court. But as somebody who believes in the rule of law, once a court has ruled that so person should be there, you don't need to talk again on that until another court decides otherwise. I've been struggling over the issue of this court. You remember the one that happened at the Appeal Court the other time? It was a court that suspended Aburi, restrained Aburi. And that time, this same set of people that are now opposing Aburi, they were the ones that are giving Aburi protection. I told them that time, when a court has ruled, asking somebody to restrain somebody from playing the role of a national officer, the best is to force him or compel him to step aside. You cannot be a judge in your own matter. But that time, they were protecting him for reasons best known to them, including the NSC. Now, since that time, when he now went to Appeal Court, the Appeal Court lifted the ban that he should be regarded as the chairman of the party. I move ahead to the Supreme Court because I didn't want to make comments on what court has said. We moved right now. I still have another case at the Supreme Court. Right now, I have another case at the Supreme Court. For you to know that, not that I'm quiet, but for somebody who believes in the rule of law, you have to wait for court to decide. But because this particular one has almost settled all the demands, that's why you see me coming up at this level. Now you say, where do I derive my authority? Exactly. Because that's the question now.
Because you're a member of the NWC.
Yes.
So if Aburi is out, you're also out, is that not?
So the judgment of the Supreme Court is not talking about the National Working Committee. Okay. It's talking about Aburi in particular, not the entire National Working Committee. It's not the entire National Committee. if Mr. A commits an offense, that does not affect all the entire team because he has his own name and everybody fill his own form for a particular position, not the issue of an issue that affects A, affects all. No, it's not like that. Then coming to where I derive my authority. When this Supreme Court judgment was given, and what is clear there is that Supreme Court said leadership matter cannot be decided by the court. That the party leadership should go back home and go through their constitutions and apply it. Ordinarily, we should expect somebody like Peter Obi, who is the principal of the party, to call a meeting. And other leaders of the party. But already, with the decision they have taken already, he has his own group already, where Nanadi was chosen to be the caretaker chairman. So such a person cannot handle an issue like that.
So you took this decision solely?
I'm coming to that. The same thing Aburi, who has been on this issue, and court said, now your protection is gone. Now is now naked. If Aburi is now naked, and the party must go on, are we to close down the office when everybody's laying claim to the leadership? Now, I will read out the constitution of the party.
Please do.
Very quickly. And that is what I quoted in my speech. Article 14, 2B of the Labour Party constitutions. Let me start from A and B. The Deputy National Chairman shall assist the National Chairman in the discharge of his duties. That's A. The B, a Deputy National Chairman shall act in the absence of the National Chairman and shall, in the absence of the National Chairman, preside over the meetings of the party. It's automatic order. It's an automatic authority.
Well, Mr. Apapa, if I may ask you, this is the second time you're stepping in as the acting national chairman of the Labour Party, and some would say again, under controversial circumstances. Don't you think that your latest move has further caused division within the party?
It is not true. The first time you are referring to is still the same thing that I'm pursuing today. That time you are referring to, when you regarded as being controversial, it is the same issue. But that time, I've already got protection from our principal and the NSC. I remember that time when I was to go to the NSC president to explain to him what led to this crisis. There was a statement he made. He regarded me and my team as rodents that will be fumigated. I said, well, fine. The day will come. It's a law of karma.
Okay, now just hold your thoughts.
Let me still go for more. So
that we can talk
on what she has just mentioned. That time you mentioned, I'm still on that matter till today. If your matter has not been treated well, you will go ahead. I've been on this matter since that time till today.
Okay,
it's not, I'm not just reimagine again.
Okay, just hold your thought. We'll come back to you. Now, Mr. Ayo. Mr. Ayo, are you there?
Good morning. Good morning.
All right. Now, I guess you must have read the certified true copy of the Supreme Court judgment that set aside the leadership of Abure. And in place of that, your constitution says, just as he read to us, that the Deputy National Chairman shall act if the National Chairman is out of place. Now, what's your thought on this?
Yeah, the CTC is really very well. We all, our lingua franca here is English. Okay. It didn't say the leadership of Abure has been set aside. He only said he set aside the ruling of the lower court, declaring pronouncing Abure as chairman for want of jurisdiction. And if a court tells you that it doesn't have jurisdiction, it means the substantive matter was not taken at all. It's presumed not to have been taken, and so you return to status quo. That is the meaning of that judgment. That is the meaning of the Supreme Court judgment.
Well,
no court has the power to decide over the leadership of any political party as far as Nigeria is concerned.
Well, Mr. Olorunfemi,
and the Supreme Court is very clear about it.
Mr. Olorunfemi, I believe you heard your colleague here when Mr. Apapa, where he said he has declared himself as the acting national chairman of the party. But, you know, the Abure faction and also the caretaker committee are still locked in a power tussle. With the current situation, where does this leave, you know, Mr. Abure?
We will resolve.
Okay. Let me just read for his benefit also, for your purpose of the public, the part of the Supreme Court ruling. In summary, I quote: in summary, both the trial courts and the court below had no jurisdiction to entertain the suit of the first respondent, that of the Labour Party. Say, consequent upon the foregoing, the decision of both the trial courts and the courts below recognizing Barrister Julius Abure as the national chairman of the first respondent are hereby set aside for and struck out for want of jurisdiction. That's a certified true copy. But he is saying that back to status quo. Yeah, you want to comment on this back to status quo, not going by this ruling of the Supreme Court?
That is why I keep on saying there is a difference between knowledge and wisdom. You can be, when you blow grammar and you cannot interpret it, there's a problem. If a court has conferred on Abure as the national chairman, something led to why he was asked not to be called national chairman. It was not just a tea party. There was an issue against him. And the Superior Court now said, the court that gave you that order has no authority. That same order that suspended him is still hanging on his neck. And that's my annoyance with them. Is that particular issue is still hanging on his neck. And that time I said, you cannot be a judge in your own matter. If you have been accused of any wrongdoing, you step aside and let us investigate. He did not. So if you fail to do that, and you keep on operating as if you are above the law, then and that's why we have this crisis. Nobody should behave as if it's above the law.
Well, Mr. Olorunfemi.
Yeah.
All right.
If I may correct that impression completely.
All right, go ahead.
When he said there was a court judgment that suspended Abure, another court also said nobody has the power to suspend Abure. That court, the two corresponding, the two courts of equal jurisdiction.
And what did the Supreme Court say?
Contradictory.
What did the Supreme Court say?
The other one said don't suspend me.
What was the ruling of the Supreme Court?
And let's go to the substantive matter before us. We are discussing the Supreme Court ruling.
Yeah.
The Supreme Court ruling is not as a result of anybody suspending Abure as an issue. It has to do with a clear case of INEC pretending not to know and avoided the Labour Party from participating in the training that it organized for with respect to Ondo governorship election. And in seeking that recognition, we have to go to court with INEC. In the process of while the court process was going on, the Nadi caretaker committee came to join, and we never opposed our joining, because we knew quite well that the constitution is very clear. The constitution of the party is very clear, and that one cannot even say true. However, the court came out. Don't forget that there was a court judgment ab initio that looked at where this group of people, not Apapa now, and there's another group went to court to say that the national convention held in Enugu should not be, Anambra State, should not be recognized. And the court looked at it and said, I don't have jurisdiction to look at anything that has to do with leadership. However, if I want to look at the convention, the process that led to that convention, assuming without considering that I don't have jurisdiction. If I want to look at that convention, it follows due process. it follows the Electoral Act, it follows the party constitution guidelines and everything, and therefore that constitution, that convention is legit.
Well, Mr.
There's no judgment on that, which we are not talking about.
Mr.
The one we are talking about now is the one that has to do with INEC, where INEC decide to informally they recognize the party, and we took INEC to court, and the court ordered that Abure should be treated as the chairman of the party and be accorded with all the recognition.
All right, Mr. Olorunfemi, we'll still come back to you because we need to take a quick break right now. We'll have you back. You're still watching TVC Breakfast, and we're live from our Abuja studio. We're still discussing the issues unfolding within the Labour Party and, you know, how it's been tackled at the moment. Well, Mr. Apapa, I'd like to ask you, and not too long ago, you were seen as being on the Abure side in the power tussle. What changed and what made you decide to challenge his leadership and, you know, go for the top seat for yourself?
Well, I am surprised to hear that from you. Okay. When the case is in the court, we can be playing, we can be joking. That doesn't remove the argument.
So you were joking?
Yes, because up to today, I'm telling you, this issue is still at the Supreme Court.
This back and forth between your party, don't you think that it's putting a bad light on the public image of the party?
Where people refuse to speak the truth, you must expect things like this.
And there is the election just around the corner, the 2027 election. Even the Anambra election is just around the corner.
Yeah.
Is your party interested in playing a role in the Anambra election with all this that is playing out? 3 different factions?
Well, who to blame?
Who blame you, the leader?
Because I keep on telling them that if you fail to do what is right, you must expect the worst. That's it.
Well, INEC has been contacted by the caretaker committee to stop recognizing Julius Abure, but your name wasn't put forward as a replacement either. Doesn't that make your claim to the leadership quite uncertain?
They don't have to put my name, because those who went there, nobody put their name. They went there to show themselves. And all the cases we have with Abure and others, copies were given to INEC. So it's not a hidden issue. And
do you have a formal backing from INEC or any other legal authorities?
I don't have to have backing of the INEC. I need to have the backing of the Constitution and the Constitution of the Labour Party. That's all.
Okay. Mr. Ayo, you're there with us? Now, I just asked the question, going forward, the 2027 election is just around the corner. Anambra election is around the corner. Now, if there is a leadership dispute amongst these 3 factions, it places at jeopardy whoever emerges as the candidate of Labour Party in Anambra. How do you intend resolving this before the Anambra election?
I can tell you with full authority that this crisis will not affect the Anambra election. We are going to Anambra to win the election, and we are going to leave all of these things behind us to face Anambra election. We are winning the Anambra election.
If you say we are going to the election, who is the we? Is it Abure? Is it Mr. Lamidi, Apapa, or Nenadi?
Abure, myself. Well, I hope Apapa will not be left out. Abure, myself, Obi, Alexoti, Nenadi, all of us will face Anambra issue. We must win the election. We have already conducted the primary. The Labour Party doesn't have a parallel.
Everyone seems to agree. Do I have your attention? Mr. Olorunfemi? All right. And let's come to you, Mr. Apapa. The first time you took over the leadership of the Labour Party, there were accusations that you were working for the APC to destabilize the Labour Party. Now similar claims are surfacing again. How do you respond to people who say they don't trust your intentions?
I've said it several times, that if anybody has a proof, we should bring it. And up to today, none of them has been able to bring any proof.
Well, so why do you think this kind of suspicions are coming up?
No, it's that a cup of tea. You know, let me tell you. Let me tell you
of a party, and it is only right for people to feel concerned about your true intentions.
Let me tell you this. What I said that time is still happening to today. When I took over, I told our principal that this issue is not the issue of blackmailing. Find out the truth. Because if Aburi has been accused of wrongdoing, call him to order. Let all of us be there. Let A explain, B explain, and I explain. But since he doesn't have the audacity to do that, is that my fault? It's not my fault.
Mr. Olorunfemi, I will come back to you.
Yeah.
Mr. Olorunfemi, everyone seems to agree that Aburi's time is up. But the big question is, who should be responsible for organizing the transition to a new and legitimate, committee or leadership, rather?
100 people may be saying his tenure has expired. Only 20 people may say it has not expired. And those 20 people may, of course, in this case, are the people who are correct. I just told you we held a national convention there in a week. No court has set that convention aside. Even the Supreme Court did not send it. In fact, it was on before it. And we told you that status quo ante. So you return back to that post national convention.
But the
there's no confusion about
it. But the Aburi faction seems not to enjoy the support of the key stakeholders in the party. Did you get my question?
Come again.
The Aburi faction does not seem to enjoy the support of the key stakeholders in the party. Doesn't that speak volume of that?
When you talk about key stakeholders, it's subjective and relative. When people just came to join your political party just yesterday and they want to take over the structure of the party, you've forgotten that the party itself has a very strong structure up to unit level, up to ward level, from unit level to ward level, to local government level to state level. The structures are there fully, and want to wipe out all this structure and impose the new people coming. How is that possible? Do you know that currently we have over 250,000 members in our database who are not, who does not belong to this group we are talking about? This, or let me say, this group don't have one single person in that database.
Okay.
Are you with me? Because you have obedience. Most of these obedience are transformed into another name. Okay, in the name of Directorate of Mobilization and Integration, that the youth of Nigeria have gotten themselves together under that directorate in the Labour Party. Okay. So when you are talking about stakeholders, I can also decide to organize a stakeholders meeting, my sister. If I organize a stakeholders meeting and bring people from left, right, and center, I can organize a 1,000-man march. I can bring 500 people into a hall and call them stakeholders. All of them will wear agbada.
Now, Mr. Ayo.
So we are talking about.
Mr. Olorunfemi, the question is, if there is a leader of a particular political party who seems to have lost the trust of other key stakeholders, when do you think will be the time for such a leader to step aside for the interest of his party? For instance, when there was this Edo election, Aburi was nowhere. And several elections in states like that, Aburi's leadership was not recognized. Now, you can't force yourself on a party, on people that don't want you again. When do you think will be the time for him, for the sake of the survival of your party? Won't you advise him to step, will you advise him to step aside?
No. You know why? The Edo election, I know how I intervened in the rift between Apapa and Aburi. Apapa is from the south, Aburi is from the central. And everybody knew that it was the turn of the central. But Apapa insisted that he must have it. I personally advised him when he got the ticket. Now you have gotten the ticket. Go to Aburi. Plead with him. He's the leader of the party. But he refused. And the crisis continued. Are you going to, my brother, are you going to step down for such situation? Or a situation whereby some people who doesn't want to start calling with you, that you embezzle 3.5 billion. That doesn't exist. When they discovered that wouldn't work, they said you have forged signature, which you didn't do. which we cannot prove. Okay? So are you going to step down as a result of that? How about the people who believe in your leadership, who are more than the number of people who don't?
Mr. Olorunfemi, don't you think that your insistence and the insistence of Abure is doing the party more harm than good?
We will have to sit down. We will need to sit down, look at all this matter one after the other.
We get your point. We get your point, but I'd like you to answer this question. Don't you think that your insistence on remaining the chairman of the party, despite not having the support of major stakeholders, I maintain that position, is doing more harm than good to the party?
It depends on what you call major stakeholders. There are other stakeholders.
You have the Governor Oti is a member of the party. The presidential candidate is also against Abure's leadership. Don't you think that should matter?
Yeah. It's not only against Abure's leadership, it's against the leadership of the state chairman that brought him into the system. So this is dirty politics. Are you getting me?
Okay.
This is dirty politics. CK was the state chairman of the party in that place that brought him. I know how Alex Oti came into power, into the party, and how he got the ticket. All right, so I don't want to go into that.
All right, Mr. Ayolofemi, we'll come back to you. We'll come back to you. Mr. Lamidi. Mr. Ayolofemi, we'll come back to you. Now, going forward, the moment, according to you, the Supreme Court gave its ruling that Abure's leadership ended, why did it take you that long? Which means there was no leader? Shouldn't you have thought about calling for an all-encompassing meeting of every of these groups to now have an interim leadership, instead of you to come out and say, I'm now the acting chairman? Why didn't you call for a meeting that will now have an interim leadership?
Well, you see, the thing happened just at the beginning of this month. Less than 1 week now.
1 week is long for politics.
No. Why I'm saying this is because I don't want to be a victim of this type of behavior that we are experiencing now. Because if there is no issue of taking side, like I said, if our principal has not taken side, if he's neutral, if he has no team, then it would have been better for everybody to say, sir, this is our problem. But he has taken side already. Abure is also a leader of the party, as well as myself. He has also taken side. But in my own wisdom, apart from being the deputy national chairman of the party, I am privileged to be the eldest among them. And when there is any crisis, the only thing you can do is to make an immediate action, to take an immediate action.
And you didn't do that.
And that's what I did.
Abure called for NEC meeting. You didn't see anything. The NEC meeting held. The Nenadi Usman's group called for NEC meeting, and it went on. It was on the day of their NEC meeting. You came out with your statement. So you allowed the NEC meeting to go on without acting.
No. Why I didn't want to act? You know, at times, when you go into a meeting that you know you are going to create more problems, you don't need to attend it. Because if I should go to Nenadi's meeting and I raise this issue, and I know some people who are bent on saying we must follow what our principal must have said, we create problem for us. And today, I keep on telling people, you cannot know it all. If you have money, you have knowledge, and you don't have wisdom, you have lost everything. I keep on telling them, 1,000 zero will give you 0. 0 plus 0 plus 0 up to 1,000 will give you 0. And 1 plus 1 will give you 2. Anytime you want to take an action, sit down and consider the implications. But since they refuse to do that, I don't know. That's where we are. All the leaders of the party in the past, at the beginning, I told them the solution to this problem is call everybody. Let everybody explain his own part of the story. But they refused. If they refuse, will I keep quiet? I will not allow anybody to pocket me. Okay. That's the thing. Right. If up to tomorrow, if there is a opportunity for that, I am available.
All right, just hold your thought, sir. Mr. Ayolon Femi.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, with what is on ground, Labour Party must move forward, except if you're not sure of participating in the next election. Or, like some people will also say that, could it also be that Abure is fronting for some powerful interests that want to ensure that Labour Party does not have peace?
Well, that is emotional and that is sentimental. You look at the issue. When you want to handle a problem objectively, you look at the issue, you look at the rules around that issue, you look at action to be taken, and you now consider communication. Okay, so you don't just jump at issue because people are saying this. You need to find out. Apapa mentioned something. He said everybody must be able to tell their stories. Okay, everybody must be allowed to tell their stories, and you cannot validate a story if somebody has not expressed those stories. Concern. Okay, they said Abure is a thief. We are stealing what? Where? The police look at it and throw the matter away and said there's no substance in this. Forgery, they look at it, there's no substance in it. And yet some people are hanging on that to remove him. If you were Abure, will you go? So that people can continue to call you.
Mr. Olorunfemi, I'd like to quickly ask you,
of the party,
because we're running out of time.
I support a situation whereby everybody will have to come together.
Mr. Olorunfemi,
and we can come out of this struggle stronger.
Mr. Olorunfemi, please, can I get your attention, please? Because we are running out of time. We need
this country, they are waiting for us. They are waiting for the new Nigeria that is to come. And that is the responsibility we have towards this youth. All these skirmishes, they are unnecessary. Ego-tripping, they are unnecessary.
Thank you so much.
We need to sit down.
Thank you so much for your time with us on the program, gentlemen.
It was
a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Olorunfemi, and thank you so much, Mr. Apapa.
Thank you for having me.
It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Well,
as you've seen it, as the leadership crisis continues to deepen, the big question remains: how much longer will the Labour Party afford this power struggle before it loses the confidence of the people they claim to represent? Well,